You're here with me today, and I'm going through my series with the Healing Energy Oracle deck, where I pull a card, talk about the theme of it, and see what happens. So today I pulled the card of Unconditional Love. It's a real pretty one. So I will read it and then we'll go through it. So, Unconditional Love. My heart is free from resentment towards others. I open the eyes of my heart and discover light and beauty in every being. I am aware that suffering can cause distress and hurt in people. I see the pure child in everyone and practice forgiveness. This card is so perfect for me. There's a lot in it. So let's go get into it. So, the first sentence, my heart is free from resentment towards others. And resentment's an interesting word. Many of us in any type of 12-step recovery know that that is something talked a lot about in the fourth step. But it's something that's talked about universally. I think I have another video about resentments. It's something that everybody feels, regardless of whether you're in recovery or not. And it's something that's so easy to come up. It is something that, if left festering, can cause really big problems for the person involved and for the other people involved too, because then, maybe I don't know, but yeah, I'm going to act differently and I'm going to treat you a little bit differently because I had this resentment towards you. You person who didn't call when you said you were going to. It could be something as simple as that. Or you stood me up. You didn't show up when you said you would. Or another big resentment is, we've been married a long time and you no longer do X, and now I resent you. Or we've been friends for such a long time and you no longer, or you say these hurtful things to me. You never did this before. And now you're saying all these hurtful things. And I try to talk to you about it. You don't listen to me. I resent you. Strains the friendship, strains the relationship. And when I can truly have my heart free from resentment towards others, that's a big one. So it's a big one because of the fact that I'm going to have all these, I call these little mini resentments all the time, because someone's going to cut me off in traffic, someone's going to cut me in line, someone's going to look at me the wrong way, or, not say good morning to me when I want them to, or whatever, right? All these things. And it's easy for me to have resentment towards those people. But freeing my heart of the resentment, it's not that I'm not going to feel the resentment. It's not that the resentment isn't going to come up, because they're going to. Because again, I'm human, I have this human thing, and I really can't get around that. So I know the resentment's going to come. But my heart is free from it. I'm not holding on to the resentment. That's the big one. I'm not holding on to it. A specific example is escaping me at the moment. However, I know there are times when I had a resentment of some sort, and I worked through various tools that I have, my self-compassion practice, some of the journaling stuff that I teach, and I am able to free myself from that resentment. It's there initially, but it's not something I'm holding on to. And I'm not having resentments towards other people, because as many of us know, in some of the literature, it talks about, I treat this person as if they're a sick person. As someone in recovery, as someone who suffers from many, many things, not just addiction. I'm a sick person. I was a sick person, and I was just trying to get well. So the person I have resentment towards, they may just be a sick person trying to get well too. So that's something that helps me free myself and free my heart, and being able to actually work towards that unconditional love of somebody. That's a tough one. It's very hard. I know about unconditional love for a child, but I feel like with others, it may be a little bit more challenging to have that. So that's one way to get towards it and work towards that. It's never, for me, it's never going to be a perfect thing. I open the eyes of my heart and discover the light and beauty in every being. I have developed this innate ability to look at people and just be like, oh, you're a beautiful human, just like me. That didn't come easily or overnight. That was getting back to the resentments and getting back to the working on how I feel about myself and the compassion I have for myself and the love I have for myself. Working on all of this helped me to love you better. And I'm not able to see the light and beauty in everybody until I can see the light and beauty in myself. Because there's a lot of light and beauty in myself, and there's a lot of light and beauty in you too. Whether you see it or not right now, there is. And getting to a place where I can walk through a crowd of people and just see everyone as just a beautiful being is, I can't describe it, how freeing that is, how I don't have to hold any of your stuff or my stuff. We all just have stuff that's just here. We're still doing this being a human thing. There's always going to be suffering. What do I do with it? So I'm aware, here we go. I'm aware that suffering can cause distress and hurt in people. So knowing that we're humans and we're suffering, that's the deal. That's what it is. That's what life is. I know that other people are suffering too. And I know that if everyone put all their problems on the table, I'd take mine back in a heartbeat if I knew what some people were going through. And there's also a saying that you don't know, be kind to people because you don't know what's going on, what battle they're fighting in their minds. Because someone may look put together, someone may look a certain way, someone may present a certain way, someone may say all the right things and do this and that, but you don't know if they're going home and drinking in their room. You don't know if they're gambling obsessively because they can't cope with life. You don't know if they're just walking around thinking about themselves as an absolute piece of garbage and just talking to themselves so horribly all the time. You don't know. You don't know what kind of demons people are battling. So I'm aware that that kind of suffering can hurt people and hurt people. So I know if someone's cutting me off, and I know if someone's doing something, and maybe they're rushing to the hospital because their kid is dying. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that person, but they're obviously in a moment of suffering. And I can just show them a little compassion, some of this little love stuff I'm trying to talk about right now. And that can distress people. If people don't have good tools, they don't have good support systems, they don't have things in place to help them with these things. They're just floating around, and I don't know how they're doing it. I mean, it's got to be very hard. We don't have all these things in place to help us. So, and I'm aware of that many people don't have all these beautiful things that I have. And I just have to just love them until they can love themselves. I see the pure child in everyone and practice forgiveness. Every one of us was a little bitty, cute 5-year-old kid running around without a care in the world, hopefully that was your experience. And if it wasn't, that's okay. Know that that's okay. There's nothing wrong with how anybody grew up. We're here now, and we can start practicing this stuff now that I'm talking about. But connecting with my inner child, knowing that I'm just this little baby that was created by universe, by spirit. And I was pure as anything could be at that point. And it was all this stuff in this world that did what it did to me. So there's that pure little child in everybody that's in there. Some people don't know it. People push it down and hide it, but it's there. It is. And knowing that helps me practice the forgiveness, helps me practice this unconditional love. It helps get me there because I know, again, you are suffering, I'm suffering, we're just human beings suffering. And I'm just trying to do the best I can with what I got. And sometimes what I got isn't all that great because of this one and that one and, you know, all these things that made me who I am and got me to where I am today. And the forgiveness, many levels of forgiveness. Forgiveness towards myself was a big one. Forgiveness towards certain individuals was big. And then also forgiveness for the world at large. So when I'm walking through that beautiful sea of people and I'm seeing all this beautiful light and beauty in every being, I forgive you today. I don't know what I'm forgiving them for. I have no clue, but I forgive you. because being a human being is difficult. It's not easy, but there's a lot of beauty and joy in life. And if I'm sitting here stuck in that mire and that yuck and that, you know, this war and this famine and this and that, I'm going to miss out on the fact that being alive is beautiful. And there is beautiful, precious moments that I can take with me. When all the things are hitting the fan, there's these beautiful moments, and all because I practice forgiveness. And I see everybody, these beautiful light beings, and no resentments, and I know everybody is suffering in some way at some point. Take it away from it. But there's so much joy and beauty and love and wonderfulness. And I'm so glad that you were here with me today. I'm so glad that you've listened to me. Thank you. And as always, you can find out more at my website, thepeacewecrave.com. Look forward to connecting with you there. And thank you, and be well.